Hey, this is Paul, and today I'm going to talk to you about the first 5 varieties that I personally recommend that you should start growing first. So number one, first plant you should grow is going to be a voodoo child or a sugar dragon. You can see why we have, in this case, this is Arizona purple, but it's very much similar to the ones I talked about. It's already got a flower bud and it's early to bloom. So this Arizona purple, or here's sugar dragon, it has some flower buds that turn to branches. But generally, this is the first plant I recommend. One, because it's gonna be self-fertile. Two, it's an early bloomer, so it's gonna be an excellent pollen source. Three, it's not hard to get. You can find yourself a sugar dragon or voodoo child pretty easily online, and you won't get duped too easily. You can see what the plants look like. They're generally gonna have 1 to 3 thorns, really thick thorn. They're dark olive green, 3-sided, has nice ribs or waves, and it's generally gonna look very similar to this. So the reason why I suggest growing this first, a sugar dragon especially, or a voodoo child, is because it's a little bit slower to grow at first. It takes kind of another season to mature and produce fruit. So absolutely number one variety, in my humble opinion, would be 8S, which is sugar dragon, voodoo child, Arizona purple, or even neon. That one's similar as well, but I notice it does bloom a little later. So that's the absolute number one variety I recommend. So in short, sugar dragon. Okay, this is the second variety I recommend growing, and it's actually my favorite to eat, which is American Beauty or something similar. This is a Hylocereus guatemalensis, and they tend to be self-fertile and a purple-fleshed fruit. Absolutely delicious. Now in this case, this American Beauty, you can see it has lots of growth, no flower buds, but similar fruit or similar varieties that will taste the same are going to be something like, here's G2. You can see another early bloomer. And in fact, some farms considered G2 and American Beauty to be the same. They even sold them as the same. So there's also, here's another G2 with some nice flower buds, as you can see. And this is actually very similar. I believe it's related to American Beauty, is G1, G2, G3. So my G1 is over here, no flower buds yet. G2. And here's G3, which was actually Leo Manuel's favorite Guatemalan. And again, these are all gonna taste really similar to American Beauty. They're gonna be self-fertile, and as you can see, they're early bloomers. So absolutely important variety. American Beauty's easiest to find, but in my opinion, a lot of people just sell these mixed up. G2, G3 is American Beauty because they look identical. You can't tell the difference in the flowers really, or the fruit in my experience.
Now, some of the largest fruit too. They're huge.
Oh, really? A huge fruit, delicious, and generally self-fertile as well. Now there's one that's a little different that I really like, and that's down here, and that's Condor. I actually have a couple Condors, and this one I got from Elk Creek. And you can see it's not a very old plant, but look at all the flower buds. And Condor, according to Oceanside Dragon Fruit, they said that the smell of the fruit is different than American Beauty, and the taste, this was actually Leonardo's favorite, if I recall. He liked Condor a lot. So you can see, in general, a Guatemalan is a really important variety, or second that you want to grow. I suggest American Beauty or G2 or something similar like Condor or a G3. So that's what I recommend. I do have a really rare one, a Rixford. It's over here. And in this case, most people actually have mislabeled Rixford, and the real Rixford is actually really hard to grow. This was Leo Manuel's here. And you can see that this one has had a lot of damage from the cold. It's really susceptible to the cold damage. It actually lost the core here. And something I just started to notice is this Rixford actually has so many four spines. And generally Guatemalans have a single spine, but this Rixford has not just 1, 2, or 3, it has 4 spines. So this one can be sensitive, that's one drawback. But again, there's different cultivars. American Beauty generally is the easiest to grow, and it does pretty well. So that's number 2 in my opinion. Let's move on to number 3. Okay, and the third variety I recommend growing is a pink-fleshed fruit. This is my first choice, which would be 3S, which is Paul Thompson's Delight. It's a really light pink fruit. It's delicious, but you can see that there's no flower buds. One, this plant's not that big, but it tends to bloom a little later. So there's different varieties of pink-fleshed fruit. Townsend Pink's another one that's really people enjoy and it tastes really good. And my favorites are actually over here. It's a Laverne Pink. And be aware of Laverne pink because not all Laverne pinks are the same. I call this one Paul's Laverne pink because it actually was a mislabeled Laverne red. And this produces a really sweet light pink fruit. It Brixes in the mid-20s, absolutely sweet, delicious, really delicious grapefruit. But you can see that these ones generally wake up and flower a little bit later. So not much activity, there's some new growth, but I never get flower buds on this until after the solstice. So a third choice is, I humbly really recommend, is a really delicious pink fleshed fruit. All right, let's talk about the number 4 variety that you should grow. Okay, so the 4th variety I recommend is a purple flowered fruit. So this plant here is Bruni, and that's probably my favorite of the 3 sisters, Bruni, Kathy Von Arum, and Connie Meyer. And the reason why I like Bruni is it tends to bloom first, and it has a delicious coconut flavored fruit. Smaller size, but the most gorgeous flower. You can see the flower here. So this is Bruni. The flower is purple, absolutely gorgeous. Now another gorgeous flower that tastes probably even better in my opinion is Axe. So here is one of my Axe plants, and again this has a very similar purple flower, but you can see the fruit is actually magenta inside. So very different flavored fruit. This one is really sweet and I like it a lot. So that's Axe. So the 4th variety you should grow is a unique flower. In this case I recommend one of the purple flowers. There's quite a few out there now. And number 5, I recommend something rare. So there's so many out there, they can be so expensive, it's ridiculous, but there are some really unique cultivars, and here's 2 right here. So this one, you can see Cotton Candy actually has a flower bud right here, and this is 1-10, one of Don Burnett's seedlings, and this one makes a white flower where its sisters make a purple flower, but this is a really delicious, really sweet fruit. So people really recommend and enjoy Cotton Candy. You can see it has a lot of growth. It got a little damaged over the winter, but this is a unique variety that definitely is going to taste delicious, and I'm really excited to grow, and you can see it's doing well so far. Here's another really rare, unique one. This is Esmeralda. This is a white-fleshed undatus, but it's got a green skin. And you can see, look at how unique the growth is. It's really beautiful. It's red. So I would tend to not be stuck on the names as much, as those first 4 I recommend are absolutely essential in my humble opinion. But once you start getting beyond those, there's so many others. There's red flesh varieties that are good. But I would recommend, if you're only growing 5, do the 4 and then something really unique. And they can get expensive, so be careful. But just make sure that you pick something that people have really reported tasting great. Like Connie G could be another one. There's just so many out there. So those are my recommendations of the top 5 that you might want to start with if you're getting into the dragon fruit obsession. So give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks for your time. Have yourself a wonderful day.